Welcome to my review for Assassin's Creed 2. If I sound a little down, that's because it's the second review in a row where I'm going to talk about some disappointments I had with an otherwise critically acclaimed game that so many people seem to praise. Sadly, I just think that this game really wasn't for me, and I'm going to do a lot of comparing with other titles to try and provide some perspective as to why. There's lots of things that the game offers to those gamers who suit this style of gameplay. It's a large game, there's lots of area to explore, either by foot or even by horseback. The cities you visit are pretty jam-packed with buildings. The game looks great, it has excellent voice acting. Between the large campaign of the main story, which I think took me just under 14 hours to get through, and all of the side missions that are available, there's definitely lots to do. But for some reason, I didn't want to do a lot of what was available to do. Many of what there is to do in the side missions, whether that be a race or additional assassination contracts, just didn't capture my interest and make me want to pursue them. I'm not much of a collector in games, but there is lots to collect if you are. You can be on the search for secret symbols, you can find feathers, you can be on the hunt for special areas, but for some reason I just wasn't compelled to do it. As for the main campaign of the game, it got a little bit tiring. I felt it suffered from the same problem that Uncharted suffered from, which was what you're doing at the end of the game doesn't really feel a whole lot different from what you're doing at the beginning of the game. I mean, the combat is almost identical through the whole thing, at least up until the very final fight. You hardly gain anything extra when trying to navigate the buildings. Completing your assassinations from the first guy to the, second last guy, again, looks pretty much the same. In fact, assassinating a target feels almost exactly the same as assassinating some random guard that's on top of a building. And then there's getting across the buildings, doing this kind of parkour thing, or free running as they called it in the game. I could compare that to Infamous, which I thought did not only the scaling of buildings and traversing across rooftops, but combat as well was much more fluid and instinctive and fast and fun and engaging, and the combat in this game is slow and tedious, and so is the climbing. I mean, there's some parts where you're trying to scale a large tower, and that has a bit of a puzzle aspect to it, because you're trying to figure out how to get to the top. And that I appreciated. That I thought was one of the highlights. But when I'm just trying to scale a 2-story building, it should be much easier. I shouldn't be facing these same puzzles and being confused with, oh, but that looks like something I should be able to grab onto, because I'm pretty sure I did it before, and there's no reason not. I gotta go this way, and oh, okay, and then you're running along the rooftops, and it should be fast, and that should be fluid, and that should be fun, but you're always stopping. Well, at least I was always stopping for something. Maybe it's because I didn't want a guard to start chasing me, so I took care of him and got him out of the way, but I have to stop to do that and have it go through this little mini animation as I take care of him. It interrupts the flow. To make another comparison, this actually reminded me a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega Genesis. That game was presented, and I understand this one wasn't, but that one was presented as, the super fast hedgehog that you go zipping around levels on. And that might be true after you memorize every turn in the level, but I remember when I first played Sonic, I wasn't going very fast. I was constantly tripping, running into walls, not sure if there was an enemy up ahead, so I had to approach it pretty slow. Kind of the same thing here. I never quite knew, am I going to make this jump? It looks like I can make it, but maybe not. Is there something over the edge that I'm not seeing that I'm going to be able to run on? Is there a pole there? Am I going to, there's just all these things that kept stopping me. And I know with this making up for part of the reason I just couldn't really get myself completely into the game is my own fault. It's about skill level, it's about getting to know the area, it's about practicing, but I never felt like it was worth it to invest that time, because I still wasn't convinced it was going to give me this great experience. And even after 14 hours of gameplay, I never felt I got the perfect handle on the controls. I always still felt a little bit clumsy at times. There was other times where I was pulling off moves that made me think, hey, I think I finally got it, but then reality set in and I'd do something silly and was able to remind myself, no, haven't quite got all the nuances yet. The one other highlight I will say was in here is actually in one of the side missions where you go raiding these tombs, because I felt it had a nice puzzle platforming aspect to it that I appreciated. In fact, if more of the game was like that particular side mission, then I probably would have enjoyed the overall game a little bit more. Unfortunately, the rest of the side missions didn't have the same appeal to me, and the other components of the game I just felt have been done better by other games. So for me, my first delve into the world of Assassin's Creed was okay. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just couldn't get into it as much as many of the fans have been able to get into it.